everyone, my name is Chase Roberts. I am a yoga teacher, world traveler, and interior detailer for cars. I'm not too sure how that makes sense, but this account is all about figuring out your 20s and really just figuring out my 20s because I don't know where I'm going. And so we're having a little bit of a camping setup today, very peaceful in nature. Love being outside. But today's story is going to be fun because it is the first time that I took my first solo travel trip and kind of how I did it. And maybe just to help other people who are thinking of solo traveling and just one avenue that I went. And maybe if you are interested in doing what I did, maybe get some tips from the video. So, my first solo trip was to Costa Rica for a volunteer English teaching program. And so, this was about 3 years ago, I think. And, or maybe two, I don't know, it doesn't really matter. But I was like ready to do my first trip alone because I didn't have many people that were able to travel at the time that I wanted to. And I knew that volunteering was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to really be involved in a community, learn more about a new culture and the people there. And so this seemed like the best way to do it. And Costa Rica was only a 5-hour flight from Canada. So it seemed like the perfect thing for me to do. So I started looking into different programs. And so I booked with Plan My Gap Year. And so this school or this program allows you to pick different volunteer programs all around the world. And for people that are thinking of doing a gap year or really just volunteering, it's a great way to budget your trip, and they also set you up with a lot of different things along the way. So I felt the safest doing it with a program, and I also didn't know if it was going to be a scam or not, but I was hoping not. I did read some reviews and talk to some people, and they were super nice, and it was really easy for me to get enrolled. I think I booked it very last minute, like 2 weeks in advance, and I think the total cost of the trip was $1,500. This was for 2 weeks in Costa Rica. I stayed longer and did my own travel towards the end. But the first week of lessons was learning Spanish, and then the second week would have been teaching. You can obviously stay longer. I went around Christmas time, so I wanted to be home. So I was there for about like 3 and a bit weeks. But I spoke zero Spanish. So that was one of my biggest fears was going is like not knowing how to speak at all. Second was like, how am I gonna get around not speaking Spanish, and how am I gonna teach? Like there were so many of these fears coming up, but I was like, I knew that I wanted to do this thing, and I saw lots of other people having the same ideas and thoughts and worries, and I knew it was gonna be fine. So I did almost back out a few times, but I booked the trip. I'm like, this is cool. Whatever's gonna happen, I'm gonna learn. So I landed at night, and they had somebody to pick me up, which was really nice because the airport was a little bit busy with taxis and everyone calling your name to try and get you to get a ride. So I had a ride already arranged. And then when I got there, it was late, so there was nobody there to check me in, but I was given a key to the house that I was staying in, and so this house would have had other people in it, and so there was 4 other girls at the time. And so when I got there, it was like super overwhelming because I was like, oh my gosh, this is a new place, new country. These girls have been here for a bit, so they kind of had the surroundings, and I was like, how am I going to get breakfast in the morning? Like all of these ideas, thoughts were coming up. So anyways, the next morning comes around, and we walk to like the nearest convenience store to get something for breakfast because we didn't really have time before our class. And so the test that I was given was to see how well you could speak Spanish, and I knew zero, like literally nothing, because I never took Spanish. And I was like, oh my gosh, like what did I get myself into? I don't even know anything on this page. But everyone was so nice, and the teachers were so nice there, and they were like, don't worry about it. We are gonna, get you up to speed. So the week was definitely really tiring learning Spanish and just learning the place that we were staying in. It was a very local place, so nobody spoke English really. And so that was definitely something to get used to. Uh, the food was absolutely amazing, and met so many wonderful people while I was staying in this little town. And the people that were at the school were just so accommodating for anything you needed to ask. As well, they set up different excursions throughout the week, so that was a great way to meet people. There was only 5 girls, I think, the entire time when I was there because it was December, so it was a quiet month to be volunteering. But earlier before that, there was quite a lot more people, and they could do healthcare as well. I did the teaching English. I really do enjoy teaching and working with kids. So then the following week is when I got to teach the kids, which was absolutely so fun. So we would come up with little crafts and little games, and it just showed me like it doesn't matter if you don't speak the same language. The same, we're all human beings. We're all living the same experience, and the kids were so loving and happy to work with us. And so I learned a lot from teaching, and that put me out there a lot because I was so scared to be like, is this right in Spanish? And they also didn't know their English very well. So I hope that they enjoyed their experience as much as I did. And so that week was just planning lessons and really just figuring out the lay of the land to teach. And then on the weekends, we had our time off, so we would go and book our little excursion. So 9 times out of 10, we were taking a bus somewhere, and it was usually like a long bus. It was probably 3 hours to get to where we wanted to go. And then they would book a hostel, and then we would go do like a boat tour. I have so many videos that I'll put in, but we did a waterfall tour one day. But it was super fun to meet people like so quickly. And so these girls were super fun. We all got along, and we did karaoke one night with the locals, and then we went to some gym, and like that experience was so different than traveling and doing normal tours because we were really involved with people's day-to-day lives. And so we were meeting people that were living in this little city, and so we were able to go out and experience the little local places, which really made the trip really memorable. And then I decided that I was like, I'm going to go out on my own for the last week that I was there and go figure out what I wanted to do next because my program was up and I just wanted to see more of the country. So I took a bus, got up early at 6 a.m., figured out the bus to Manuel Antonio, which is a beautiful surf town. And so I got there, got off on the wrong bus stop. So that will happen. And so then I had to call the taxi, and the taxi guy was like, "Why did you get off here?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't know." So he picked me up and drove me to my hostel, which was nice. And I got his number, so I was able to contact him if I needed more taxis going further on. So my hostel had like a beautiful pool. It is very hot, I will say that. It was very humid, but it had a cafe, which was really nice, so I didn't have to leave to go get food. I did end up walking through town and got like a pizza at this little like restaurant. It's a very touristy town, so a lot of people did speak English there. And I just kind of took a few days to relax, but I booked a few tours through that hostel, like a night walk in the jungle or like the rainforest. And then I also did surf lessons on the beach, which was really fun, and I got to see baby turtles. Um, Definitely that last week I missed my flight because I wanted to stay longer. So it went from being like so scared to get there to like I'm missing my flight. And so I rebooked another flight I think a week later, and I just kind of stayed in throughout that like area and booked different hostels. So it was a really fun experience. It definitely got me out of my comfort zone for my first solo trip, but it helped me realize that you can figure out anything, and there's so many wonderful people that will help you along the way. My biggest thing was like, how am I going to cook for myself? And that didn't even end up being that big of a deal. Like, we would cook together, we would go to the grocery store together with the girls that I met in my school. And so like that was cool how fast I was able to adjust. And I walked into town and I got myself a SIM card so I could switch over my phone. And so there was a lot of learning for sure, and it was definitely tiring at the beginning. But I just was so fulfilled and happy leaving that trip. And I realized that like, yeah, like booking through a program is a great way to start solo traveling because you are kind of set up with a lot of things and you're set up with friends automatically, and that way you're really never alone. And so now that I've done more solo traveling, I think I've done probably 10 other countries by myself. I've kind of planned it myself now, and I don't book through a tour company. But if I were to do a volunteer experience again, then I would be doing that. And I just think it's a great way to learn more about the culture that's there and really immerse yourself in something new. And I had such a great time. So if you're thinking of taking a volunteer trip, a solo trip, whatever that means to you, go for it. You will figure it out. And there's so much that you're going to learn, and you have no other choice but to grow into a different version of yourself. And so that's why I'm so happy that I took that leap to do that, because for the longest time I was hoping and waiting for somebody to want to do the same trips as me, and that's not always going to be the case. You're going to have interests that other people don't, and so knowing that you can do it alone is so freeing. And so I know that I can pick up and leave whenever and decide that, you know what, I'm going to go here, and I can, because I don't have to wait for anybody, because not everyone's going to be ready when you are. And so you shouldn't stop living your dreams if there's not somebody there beside you, because you can go do it alone. And it was such a beautiful country. I will be visiting back for sure. And I got to see so many amazing sights. And I did it fairly budget, I'd say, because I was volunteering, so that kind of offset the cost a little bit. And same with the food. The food was totally reasonable, and so delicious. So 10 out of 10 experience, and I can't wait to share more of my solo trip travels. But that is my first solo trip, and that's how it went for me. And I'm so glad I did it because it really sparked a new sense of freedom in me, and I'm here to share that with you on this channel. So if you want to keep watching, I'll be posting more videos on travel, life, figuring out my 20s, and just seeing wherever life takes me. So thanks for watching another video, and I hope to see you back on the channel.